Hello and welcome along to the VAR From The Truth podcast. Obviously a couple of week break, obviously due to the Christmas and New Year period. But back, first episode of 2026. Excited to do it. How you doing, man?
Yeah, mate, I'm good. I'm really good. I'm excited to be here for the first episode of 2026. First one's always a good one. And also, yeah, just happy to be here, man. How was your Christmas?
Yeah, it was good, bro. Can't complain. A little bit of time off work. Just chilled. Didn't do a great deal, to be fair.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, it was nice and relaxed family time, bro.
You want, innit? Wouldn't have it any other way, really.
No, absolutely not. Obviously, football's been on for the last couple of weeks. Obviously, we've been keeping in touch and whatnot, and obviously talking a lot about it. Obviously, a lot has happened, especially over the last few days.
Yeah.
So a lot to get through. I think the main agenda for us today is obviously to go through the results from the weekend, discuss what's next for Chelsea, Man United, maybe talk a bit about the relegation battle that's going on at the moment. And then maybe anything else that we think of along the way, really.
Yeah, no, 100%. We're just gonna have a catch up, really. We haven't really spoken on the phone since it's all gone, so it's gonna be good to just catch up, get your thoughts on what's happened. A lot has happened. It's been completely topsy turvy in the Prem. Crazy results. Title races, swung in different directions. Managers have lost their jobs. Shock results. So yeah, it's been a bit crazy. If you had to pick a standout moment over the Christmas period, what would be your standout moment?
My standout moment, probably biased, because obviously being an Arsenal fan, but it's not even the game, yeah. It's this like clip that I seen after the game, Gabriel, when they beat Villa, and it was like obviously that's going around
On
a lot.
viral, mate. Got
Yeah.
me and your mouth doing it now.
Yeah, so that's gone around a lot, and like just the fact that like the revenge on Aston Villa, and yeah, obviously like Big Gabby being back, but that's probably my highlight. That really made me smile, like obviously especially after such a good game against them, and yeah, so that's probably my top moment. What about you?
Yeah, it's hard to say that isn't the top moment,
Mm.
but I'm gonna have to go with the Chelsea downfall
Yeah.
because from them winning 1-1 against Arsenal to Maresca obviously getting the sack. It's just a crazy turn of events. Like
Mm.
if someone had said to you after they beat Barca at home and drew with Arsenal with 10 men that Enzo Maresca will be sacked by the end of this month,
Mm.
like what would you have said?
Like impossible, or I would have had to have said like they would have lost their next like however many games between then and now, like they would have had to have lost all of them and not scored any goals or something stupid like that. And like
Yeah,
even then, I still might have been like, nah, probably not. Because you got to think they're fifth place, they're 3 points off fourth.
yeah,
They're in the Carabao Cup semi-final. They are, in the playoff places in the Champions League. Obviously, the FA Cup games are coming this weekend. Like when you look at it like that, they're doing all right for what Chelsea should be aiming for. That's very, very good. Because I think me and you both know, being sane fans, that this Chelsea team aren't Premier League contenders right now. They're not Champions League contenders. Their squad is mediocre at best. They've got a few gems in there, Cole Palmer, Reece James, João Pedro, a couple other like little gems, but the bulk of their squad is just average, mate. So I was really surprised. It seems more like maybe he sort of just had a falling out with people at the club, maybe, rather than his results. So I think maybe that's partly to do with it. A few of my mates are Chelsea fans, and like they're not happy with the Chelsea ownership. They were pretty happy with Maresca, and obviously there's even talk of like when Pep leaves that Maresca might go to Man City. Obviously, there's even talk about obviously him going to United as well, apparently. But yeah, it's confusing, really. I think that's what Chelsea fans are at the moment. I think they're confused, just like what's going on.
Yeah, I'm going to give you three names, and I want to kind of get your reaction on what you think these three players would do and how they would affect that Chelsea squad if they were in this current team. First player is Thiago Silva.
Yeah.
Second player is Granit Xhaka.
Mm-hmm.
And third player is Olivier Giroud.
Okay.
I think
Yeah, go on.
if you put those three players in that squad, Thiago Silva, serial winner, you know, done it his entire career. I know he played there, but for me, this Chelsea team is crying out for some experience.
Yeah.
And having a winner like Thiago Silva at the back, just even being in and around the club, giving like these young players, these young centre backs, a potential, like pep talk, or being there to calm the changing room down and maybe come on for the last 10 minutes in a tight game and use some of his know-how to get to see them over the line. I think that would be massive for them. And I think then you look at someone like Granit Xhaka, who has, in my opinion, been the signing of the summer.
Yeah. Yeah.
The way he played against Man City, the way he's kind of just dragged this Sunderland team into that upper half of the table is just he's just so calm on the ball, and his experience. He's won things in the Bundesliga. He seems to have matured so much as a player. He adds a bit of experience in that midfield. And then you've got someone like Giroud, who's just, he's going to nick a goal. He's experienced. I just think you're looking at a completely different team.
Yeah, I think that's what Chelsea need is experience. Like, I think their average age that they filled this season is about 23. Being obviously, famously it's been said before, and to be fair, Gary Neville said it the other day, like you can't win anything with kids. And I just think they just need some sort of experienced players in the spine of the team. From probably goalkeeper, centre back, centre midfield, and obviously up front. They just need a bit of experience just to help them get through some games, game management, like because the manager can't be on the field with you, so like these experienced players are like the manager on the field. Maybe help get a message across and stuff like that. So yeah, I think they desperately need that, but it seems like the ownership are not like they don't want to invest in like an old player. It's just all about youth. Which makes a great business model because you can sort of buy, and maybe sell on in a couple of years. But if you're looking to win things, like it could be few and far between, I think.
Which, let's be real, is what Chelsea are as a football club now.
Mm-hmm.
They are a business. They are a spreadsheet, and if it makes sense, that I was hearing that Maresca was having arguments with the director of football because he didn't want Cole Palmer to play. He wanted to take Cole Palmer off, and so that he could wouldn't get injured, so his sell-on clause, like his sell-on fee, wouldn't lower.
Mm.
which is just crazy.
Yeah, it's bonkers, isn't it?
That's
Like,
mental.
uh,
Like,
terms and conditions nowadays, like, yeah, mental, mate. I don't know. Don't know.
but that's what they've turned into. They've turned into a, this ownership is a model for them to try and earn as much money as possible, and it's
Mm.
just turned into a big academy. Like when you look at the Chelsea team, that there's no like they've got there's no consistency really in their starting 11s ever, and it's because it's like a big academy, isn't it? It's like,
Yeah.
and I think that's a problem, and I just feel like I don't know, but if you think about like a dressing room that, like, let's say you were part of a football club, a Premier League team. I feel like Chelsea is like one of the least, like just the way the players are, the way they seem to like, like Pedro Neto, Enzo Fernandez, uh,
Mm.
Caicedo. Like, I don't know if I get along with them. They don't seem like.
Do you know what? Do you know what, like the biggest eye opener I think you can take from like Chelsea's like sort of dressing room and just the way the club is being run at the moment? Noni Madueke, like at Chelsea, like I didn't like him one bit, and obviously, like a lot of Arsenal fans made that fully aware when we signed him. Like the character that he seemed to sort of portray just didn't seem like the type of person you'd like sort of like want to be around, or like want in your dressing room. Really, is what I'm trying to say. Now he's come to Arsenal, and it seems like the Arsenal dressing room is like a lot more mature. Like he's probably just settled in nicely. Goes about his business like they train hard every day, and you can see the results in the way that he's playing. He's some in some games he's been Arsenal's best player. So I think that's like the biggest thing I can say. Like obviously not to bring it back to Arsenal all the time, but that's just a clear indication. Like from one dressing room to another, the player changes so drastically. I think you could say the same about like United dressing room and some of their players. Rashford, McTominay, Anthony, these sorts of players. Like they go to these other clubs and suddenly they're performing well because the feeling around the club is not like toxic. Whereas
Yeah,
United and Chelsea, that's what it is at the moment. It's just very toxic.
it just feels toxic. Like, just when you see them, and like you see other teams, and you see some behind the scenes clips of even Man City, and Arsenal. Like there seems to be like a very healthy relationship the players have got with each other. I feel like there's a few bullies in that Chelsea
Mm.
changing room, like Cole Palmer. I remember, um, I think it was at Chimpong yesterday in the Chelsea game. Played like a decent enough ball, just got it a bit wrong. Cole Palmer was just flapping his arms in the air,
Hmm.
and I think like that is not the right attitude to have with one of your colleagues.
Mm.
It shows to me that like you're putting him under more pressure next time he tries to make a pass.
Yeah.
You're not encouraging him. Like you see sometimes players applauding
Mm.
when someone tries a good pass and it just doesn't come off, and
Yeah.
that's the right mentality to have. And I just time and time again with Chelsea, I just see these like negative influences in that changing room. It appears, and it's just what I've read into by watching them and the way they kind of, but the way they behave on the pitch, they seem quite arrogant and
Mm.
and egotistical.
Yeah. No, I think I agree with you, mate. And I guess leading on nicely,
Yeah.
Liam Senior coming in. Obviously
Interesting.
from their sister club Strasbourg. Um, what do you think about that appointment?
I think it just goes along with the model that they're
Mm.
currently. They're going for an inexperienced manager. He's not done much really. I wish him the best. Like
Mm.
he might turn around and be really good for Chelsea, but it just seems a bit like you've added an inexperienced manager to an inexperienced team,
Yeah. No. I
and
agree.
it's like, where's that experience going to come from? And he's only 40, is he?
Something like that. Yeah, he's not very old.
And also, like, the pull that Chelsea have as a football club, the money they've got, what have they seen and hit in Liam Rosinha that is, worthy of him getting this Chelsea job? Like, I don't know too much about him, mate, to be honest.
No, I think it just goes back to the whole, I think it's Clear Lake and obviously Todd Bowley and blah, blah, blah. Like, it's just the way they're trying to run the club. And obviously they've got the sister club in Strasbourg, and they probably just think, oh, it just makes sense. Like, it goes along with, like, all these young players they're trying to buy. Like,
Yeah.
it just makes sense in terms of their business model. And, like, they don't want to shell out millions of pounds signing, like, a Jose or someone like that, and then having to, like, pay the compensation if they do sack them in the end. Whereas like a Liam Senior, you're probably not gonna have to pay him a lot if you do sack him. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, like I say, I hope he does well, mate. I hope he does well. I just think it's gonna take a lot to turn this Chelsea team around at the moment. And look, like I said, they're in fifth place. They're only 3 points off Liverpool, who themselves are not performing well this season. They're in the Carabao Cup against Arsenal semi-final. They're still in the Champions League. They'll probably make it through to the playoffs. Obviously, they've got the FA Cup this weekend, so like they're not in a bad spot. So really, you'd like to think whoever's going to come in is going to keep them fifth place and above, because more than likely, fifth place is probably going to get you Champions League again next season. As long as the English clubs do well in the Champions League this year. So if you can keep to fifth, maybe sneak in at fourth, then obviously you're in automatically. You never know. It's a two-legged tie against Arsenal. You never know what might happen. And then, obviously the Champions League is knockout games. So, like, again, it's two legs. You never know what might happen. So they're still in a good position to do something this season. And we know what Chelsea are like, mate. Like they win trophies. Like we can't argue that they do win trophies. So it wouldn't surprise me if they nick one this season.
Yeah, it would be that kind of clout. What was his name?
Roberto, no.
No, it wasn't Deep. What's his name?
Yeah, Di Matteo. No.
No, it was Di Matteo. Was it Di Matteo?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, Di Matteo. Yeah, Roberto Di
Is
Matteo.
that
Yeah,
and yeah. Do you know how like they just won the Champions League?
yeah. Trust. Interim manager.
Interim manager and you can't. They do have that culture in the club where they do win things
Yeah.
out of the blue as well, and in really really bad situations. So you can't write them off from winning a trophy, and because of the inconsistency that we've seen in the league this season, a lot of these teams haven't been punished for their inconsistencies because everyone else is dropping points around them. So this run for Chelsea, they could still easily get the top four, even start, maybe reeling Aston Villa back a little bit, because they're an exciting team and they play some good football. When Chelsea are good, they're a really good team and it's hard to play against them, especially at the Bridge.
Yeah. No, I agree with you.
But anyway, moving on. Obviously, the major breaking news today is that Reuben Amorim has lost his job at Manchester United. And did you see that coming?
Like, do you know what? No, because I thought it was going to come at so many other different points in the season. Like, they could have sacked him when they lost to Grimsby. They could have sacked him when they lost to Man City early in the season. They could have sacked him after, a couple of their other, like, the Wolves one, Wolves result, Leeds. Oh, obviously the Leeds result is where he's got sacked. Like there was so many other results this season. I just thought, yeah, where I thought like Bournemouth 4-4 at home, like just so many results where I thought, oh, surely he's gone now. And he just stayed and he stayed and he stayed. And I thought, well, surely he's going to be here. Like, they're going to at least see out this season. Because again, they're in 6th place at the moment. I think they're 5 or 6 points off the top 4. So for the squad that they have, and where the club's been in the last couple of years, that's not a bad place to be. So yeah, I didn't see it coming, but I think now that he's been sacked, I think it was always going to happen. Like, it just couldn't keep going on like that. And I think obviously again he's fallen out with someone at the club, because it wasn't like a mutual consent. It was he has been sacked, because he said that he wasn't going to leave. So yeah, he's been sacked, and yeah, no, I didn't see it coming, but I think now that it's happened, it's probably the right thing for United, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, I've got a controversial opinion on it, and I actually think it's a very wrong decision. And the reason I think that is I've seen signs from this Manchester United team that they're on the brink, and the results haven't quite got. It's inexcusable, the results. I get it, but they are still like they're in touching distance to Chelsea and Liverpool to get in that top 4, and the way they played against Aston Villa was quality. Probably the first time I've seen, apart from the Arsenal game, that I've seen Aston Villa really outplayed. Rodgers scored a couple screamers. I think Amorim was starting to show this football that you saw the way Arsenal struggled with it on the first day of the season, and I feel like he was starting to build something good at United, and I think they should have given him till at least the end of the season to see where he finished. And now the problem is they're back to square one. Who's going to come in next? It's looking like Darren Fletcher might even take the team on till the end of the season. One of the only things I don't agree that Amorim's done is his, is the treatment of Kobbie Mainoo. I think that's been, I don't understand why he hasn't given him a chance.
Yeah.
But I have seen signs, and I think I've messaged you quite a lot. I actually rate United. I think they're a good team.
Yeah.
I think the way they pop the ball about, they cause teams problems. Like even against Leeds, they were unlucky to draw that game 1-1. Very unlucky.
Yeah,
And they
I
were
mean, I
opening
think.
them up at times.
Yeah, I mean, you've definitely messaged me a few times saying that obviously, you'd watch United, or every time that you've watched United, they've played really well. Just sometimes maybe the result hasn't gone their way. And I definitely remember from that first game of the season at Old Trafford where Arsenal played, and I know we won 1-0, but Man United played us off the park that day. I thought, oh wow, obviously all the signings, their first start, I thought, okay, United are going to go somewhere this season, and to be fair, I think the table has been kind to them. They've been far not good enough at all. I just think where every other team has also been the same, it reflects and shows that obviously obviously at the moment they're the 6th best team in the league, but that really isn't the case in my opinion. I think most the other teams in and around there are better than them, but obviously results here and there just mean that obviously that Man United are above them at the moment. But I seen something just before we came on that I think between 5th place and Crystal Palace, who I think are in maybe 12th, yeah, there's 6 points in it, or something like that.
Yeah. Chelsea 31 points. Palace 27.
Yeah.
So
There's
we're
5
talking
points
yeah. That's
between.
crazy.
Yeah.
That
So
is mental.
do you know what I mean? So it could look a lot bleaker, which it probably that probably would reflect it more. Like I reckon United probably, if they lost like one more game, they'd probably be in like 10th place. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like it's just the way the results are going this season, which obviously makes it such a good season. That obviously they sit in 6th at the moment, but if they lose one game and a few of the teams around them win, then they'll be back to 10th. So I think it's just
Yeah, I do hear that. I do hear that, and it hasn't been good enough. I just think, where do they go from here? They're back
yeah.
to square one. They're back to exactly where they were when they sacked Ten Hag.
Mm.
And I think the real problem is Ineos, and I think it was quite course Reuben Amorim gets sacked when he decides to actually make some remarks about the lack of spending that's going to happen in January,
Yeah.
and why this, and because they were prepared to buy Semenyo, and then when Semenyo wasn't available, they weren't prepared to reinvest that in a midfielder for him, and I think he had every right to complain about that not being backed to purchase anyone in January where he really needs a player in the centre of the park.
Mm.
And now you're looking at it and it's like the next manager's going to be in exactly the same boat. That they'll get a few, they'll probably get a few good results, but when it comes down to it, the club is rotten, and big change needs to happen at United, and it's not as simple as the manager. And I feel like this Ineos, ownership has scapegoated the managers when there's a lot of players in that dressing room that are extremely rotten and have got a lot of the managers sacked.
Mm-hmm.
And it is what it is. It's happened now. I'm not a Man United fan, but for me, looking at it from an outsider's perspective, it's just horrible, and I would hate it if my club was in that position, and it's just toxic.
Mm. And I think Arsenal fans can, not that I'm going to, but we could potentially sympathise because sort of around that Emery, late Wenger, Emery, Lundberg, that sort of era, like when we had start of Arteta, we had some absolutely god awful players who probably didn't really want to be at the club, getting a nice wage, living in London, and it was just toxic between the fans and the ownership and the managers at the time and the players, and obviously it's been turned around 360, and I think that's obviously what United want, but it's just about who's gonna lead the ship and take them there.
Yeah.
And I don't know who they're gonna get. I just don't know who they even if it's in the if Fletcher takes them on until the end of the season, then they appoint someone who's gonna go there.
I
Do you know,
think I
I
think
think maybe Southgate.
I was going to say Southgate as well, but I think Oliver Glasner, mate. I think that's who they'll go for.
Yeah, I just think
Glasner, Southgate, or Maresca.
yeah,
Mate,
yeah.
I've actually said that. Yeah, I think Glasner would. I don't want him to go there because I actually think he's a really good manager, and I
Mm.
reckon he's going to be in exactly the same boat as Reuben Amorim. I didn't think Ten Hag was a good manager,
No.
but I think Reuben Amorim, I still rate him as a manager. I think we'll see him go to another club, and I think he'll do really well.
Mm.
But yeah, Glasner, bro, maybe.
I'm gonna put my £5 bet on Southgate. I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet you it's the type of thing Sir Jim Radcliffe would sign off. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, like
Like,
England, like British manager, like
yeah, like he just would want like some. It's like he wants some order back in.
yeah,
He thinks Gareth Southgate will be his man.
yeah, yeah. I can
Um,
see it. I can see it.
but one thing I want to touch on that I think you brought it up just now. You said that us as Arsenal fans can sympathise on this because I feel like Arteta and Arsenal appointing Arteta made this Maresca, Amorim, it made that type of managerial appointment popular because
Mm,
it worked out for Arsenal.
yeah.
And do you want to know what I'm going to tell you the major difference on why Arteta worked at Arsenal and why Maresca might not have worked at Chelsea and Amorim might not have worked at Man United? and it's because none of them are Mikel Arteta.
Yeah.
That man is a genius, and I think he will go down as one of the best managers of all time. And I will never say Arteta out because of what he's done to the Arsenal Football Club.
Yeah.
Because if you look, you just said it. We were the laughing stock of the league, mate. We just got rid of Arsenal. We had that terrible period of Wenger out where, everyone wanted him gone. And then we got Unai Emery in and we were dealing with players like Mustafi, Socrates, Then we bought players like Lacazette and Ozil, but it still wasn't good enough. And then we got Arteta in and he's just changed this entire club. We were in a worse position than Man United.
Yeah.
For many years, mate. For many, many, many years.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's because of what a perfectionist Arteta is and his commitment to the finer details. And he's just a seriously, seriously good manager. His innovation of set pieces, his mix of, maybe a Pep Guardiola, David Moyes, and, having that Premier League experience. And he just, he's been able to express his managerial beliefs so well with this Arsenal side. And, they haven't spent a hell of a lot of money. It's not been like a Man City takeover where, as soon as someone gets injured, they sign players we only signed Mikel Merino last season. Yeah, we've had Declan Rice, but other teams have spent just as much money as Arsenal in that time period.
No, I agree, mate. I think he's done an excellent job, and I think that the board and the owners have actually backed him to do it as well. You remember when he casted out Aubameyang and players like that. And at the time, obviously, a lot of Arsenal fans were like, this is our star striker. He's been our player of the year, blah, blah, blah. He's the person helping us get into the top four or to win an FA Cup or something like that, which was true. But that's sort of toxic seeding in the club. He's rooted it up, and there just isn't any of that anymore. So, do you know what? I was thinking today, I was on my way to work, I was listening to the Gary Neville podcast, and he didn't go into too much detail about Arsenal, but he was talking about Arsenal. I thought, do you know what? Along I don't think Arteta would go to Real Madrid because he obviously was a Barcelona player. But I think when Hansi Flick is done at Barcelona, I can see them coming in for Arteta and trying to pinch him in that. Or the Spanish job, Spanish national team or something like that. I can see maybe not next season or the season after, but I can see he's that type of he's going to be that type of manager that the Spanish national team or Barcelona are going to be we need you. So eventually, I hope that's if that's what he wants, hope he gets it. But obviously, maybe in a few years' time. But he's that type of manager where I can see the national team or Barcelona coming in and saying you're the man for the job. That's how highly I rate him. And yeah, man, I just think the last few results for Arsenal this time last season, these same fixtures, we were drawing or losing against these same teams we played against. But now we're turning those wins into those results into wins. I think last season we lost to Villa. Obviously we beat them now. Teams I think it was who is it we lost to or drew to? I think Everton we drew last season. We won that game. There's a few other results that we've put as wins now. Bournemouth last season 2-0.
Villa, yeah. I mean, West Ham. We lost to West Ham.
Yeah, we lost to West Ham and then won that game. So these are the games that the last
Cost.
few seasons cost Arsenal the league. And I think now, like, we could get to a point where that Manchester City game away at the Etihad in, like, I think it's like mid-April, like, it could be to the point where, like, even if we lose that game, it doesn't mean anything because we put all the other smaller teams to bed and collected all these points.
Yeah.
That's the main thing with Arsenal. It's not necessarily beating the big teams. Obviously, we don't want to lose to them, but it's about actually winning your games that on paper you should be winning, and that's what
Yeah.
we've done better this season. So
100%. It's the consistency.
it's an exciting time.
It is an exciting time. It is a very exciting time. And I think, touching on what you said, when Mikel Arteta is done with Arsenal, he's going to be able to choose what he wants to do next.
Mm.
He will be able to go wherever he pleases. That's how much of a. I think if you said to any single club in world football right now, would you take Mikel Arteta? I'm pretty sure most of them would say yeah.
Mm.
Think
Yeah.
he'd be able to go anywhere. But yeah, man, like, let's touch on the title race and obviously some of the results that we saw happen over the Christmas period.
Yeah, let's go for some of the results. Go for it.
So I think the first one's got to be Arsenal 4, Aston Villa 1. It was, a huge game.
Mm.
There was so much riding on it. The feeling before the game was that this was Arsenal's bogey team. They always get a result at the Emirates. They've already beaten Arsenal this season. Emery's always got something up his sleeve to break Arsenal hearts. Cost us the league a couple years back when we lost to them 2-0 in our run-in, which was enough for Man City to end up winning the league. And what a huge result for Arsenal.
Massive, mate. Absolutely massive. Great performance as well, especially the second half. Absolutely blew them away. Could have been more. And I think cherry on top of the cake was Emery walking down the tunnel and not shaking Arteta's hand and just going down like a little baby. Like if Arteta did that, losing 4-1, oh mate, he'd be getting absolutely crucified. But it's okay for Emery to do it. So yeah, I just think we've kicked them out of the title race now. They're pretenders, I think, mate. Really, to be honest. They'll lose a few more games between now and the end of the season as well, and they'll show their true colours. And yeah, great result, and I really think I'm starting to believe now that this can happen this season. We're getting the rub of the green in some of the games. We're getting results elsewhere that are helping us, and obviously still a long way to go, and there's only 6 points in it. But I really think this year is the year, and I think something special could happen this season, mate.
Yeah, I think it's all about football's all about timing, isn't it? And is it Arsenal's time? I guess I'm not saying it. I refuse to say it until it happens. It's just one of them. But it does feel that something's a little bit different, and I think the win against Aston Villa kind of embodies that because it's such. I think the two wins that stand out for me so far this season for Arsenal are winning at St James's Park 2-1 and then beating Aston Villa at home 4-1 because St James's Park has notoriously been the worst place for Arsenal to go, especially if you consider like what happened in the Carabao Cup last season as well. And then, as I was saying earlier, like Aston Villa always seem to just pick up a point or somehow manage to stop us in our tracks. And those games were so monumental for this Arsenal team to get over, I think. And I think the positivity around the club right now is just crazy. I think the leadership in that team, like, there's leaders everywhere. When you go back to, I remember constantly many years ago, like people would talk about where are the leaders in this Arsenal team, and you'd have like people like David Luiz and Santi Cazorla. I'm not saying I love Santi Cazorla, honestly, but there was no like tough, standout, physical players. Now
Yeah.
you look at the spine of that Arsenal team, it's just like Victor Gyökeres,
Mm.
Declan Rice, Gabriel, Saliba,
Mm.
Timber, Calafiori.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's just the complete opposite. And each one of those players is a physical, strong leader of a player.
Yeah. No, I agree. I completely agree with you.
And
And yeah,
obviously that win was just what it was, and I think it
yeah,
was brilliant.
absolutely. Anyway, some of the other results.
Man City 0, Sunderland 0.
Yeah. To be fair, I think both goalkeepers played really well that game. I saw some of the highlights. Both of the goalkeepers made quite a few saves, to be fair. And Sunderland at the Stadium of Light are going to be a team that are just going to do really, really well at home. A bit like Leeds at Ellen Road. I think their home form is what's going to keep both of those teams. I mean, Sunderland obviously going to stay up, but Leeds, especially, these teams at home, are playing really, really well, like out of their skin, to be honest. We've seen that with Arsenal drawing at Stadium of Light, obviously Man City now. Obviously they picked up a point away at Anfield as well. They picked up a point away at Tottenham Stadium in their last game. Like,
Yeah.
Sunderland are a really, really good team, and I hope it's just not like a one season thing. I hope they recruit well in the summer, and obviously they finish as high in the table as they can this year, and they do it again next year because they are a Premier League team, and I don't want them to just do well this season, sell a lot of their players, and then obviously go back down. So let's hope they can keep it going.
And I'll tell you one thing: you've backed Sunderland from the start of the season.
Yeah.
Like pretty much every points on the board episode. If you don't know what points on the board is, it's our prediction show. It's on our channel, so go check that out if you're listening. But yeah, Josh has been a big backer of Sunderland in a lot of their games, and I think he's picked up quite a few points on the board from them. But yeah, to be fair, mate, you've called it from the start, and I think you've said that you like how they're a physical team. They haven't gone for like playing out the back. They've signed that. Do you know who I rate so highly? That Brobby guy.
Yeah.
Seems like such a nightmare to play against. Like,
Yeah,
so
and
strong,
proper handful, like.
proper, and like touching back into that Man City Sunderland game. He came off at around like 60 minutes or something. I think I don't know why he came off. I think he was struggling, like he was limping around. But as soon as he came off, like Sunderland couldn't get up the pitch anymore because every time that ball went up to him, I think there was one occasion where I think the keeper like booted the ball over the top and he just held Reuben Diaz off, and then was 1-on-1 with Donnarumma.
That one, yeah.
He's just such a handful, and like that goal he scored against Spurs as well on the weekend, just looks like a nightmare to play against.
Yeah.
He's a proper old school physical striker, and I absolutely love the way Sunderland play. And I think they're one of my favourite teams that I'm kind of backing this season as well. That I really enjoy watching and want them to do well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I completely agree with you, and I think to move on to another game that's just popped into my head is the Liverpool 2, Fulham 2. Harrison Reed with an absolute screamer at the end of the game. I actually can't tell you, like, I know Liverpool are not going to win the league this year, and obviously, like, they're miles off it, but like, I can't tell you how much it pleases me when they don't get 3 points. Like, it makes me so happy when I see like Van Dijk and Konate like drop to their knees when that goal went in, and like Slot like annoyed and that. It just made I actually love it so much.
Mate, do you know what as well? I just love watching like all the Liverpool. Have you ever seen that Anfield agenda guy, that bold guy?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
bro always reacts so casually to like a goal going, and he's like talk. I saw a video and he was just like, yeah, buzzing that they like got that win, and he was like 2-2 Fulham. Oh, bro, it's so jokes, man. Mate, I think that's got. You know, like when did you ever used to watch like Premier League years back,
Mm,
on Sky Sports when you were like a kid, and you used to like
yeah.
look back at like 2005 and see like the moments of the season.
Yeah.
That has got to be like one of the moments of the decade, bro.
Yeah, man. 100%.
Because like you just don't see that happen.
Nah.
Like
Yeah,
the
you don't see
caliber,
that
like
goal anymore.
nah, just the caliber of that goal. It was like you can't get more top bins than that.
Mm. Yeah. Try.
Insane. And the way Cody Gakpo took off his shirt as well, like
Yeah.
thought he won it, and you know, just
That gave me like Richarlison vibes when like bro always takes off his shirt and then they lose the game. Like
that trust. It's just typical for Liverpool this season. And, you know, like it's crazy, mate.
Mm.
Crazy goal. One of my favourite moments of the season so far.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, 100%, definitely. And I
And like
think
the fact it was Reed as well, like haven't
mm,
scored like since 2023 or something, and
yeah.
doesn't really play too often. I saw a video of Iwobi. He's on
Oh
the
yeah.
AFCON, like telling Bassi about what happened.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you'll never guess what Reedy came on and put it top bins.
yeah. Yeah. Just.
Jokes.
But I think like yeah, I mean Liverpool are just I don't know how they're in fourth place. Like again, I think it's just where all the other teams around them have just been absolutely woeful as well. They've sort of snuck in there, but you know they're not guaranteed fourth if they keep playing like that, and you know the other teams end up picking up points here and there. So obviously, yeah, like we said, it's been a really really topsy turvy season so far, and you know long may it continue. Obviously, apart from the title race, I'd like that to just dwindle off as soon as possible. But yeah, it's been a really really good season so far.
Yeah, it's going to go down as one of the the great seasons because there's just been so many shock results.
Mm.
I think last thing to touch on is last night I was eating a cottage pie
Mm.
in my front room and kind of I was watching the game, obviously the Man City Chelsea game. I was
Mm.
thinking, just hearing Gary Neville and like a few listening to the empty had kind of say, "Come on, City," a few times. Yeah, like some nervous chants going on in the empty had, and then I was so frustrated with Pedro Neto. I can't
Mm.
because it's like the first time I was like watching Chelsea and kind of like, come on, like do something for me, and that guy, like, bro was running forward and looking back at the same time to
Yeah,
make sure,
yeah.
like, it was ridiculous. He just was so bad, and they should have won the game if it wasn't for him. But
Mm.
that equaliser, I was screaming, mate. I went mental.
I couldn't believe it. Like obviously, I looked at the score, um, probably like 91st minute or 92nd minute, and I was just like, oh, 1-0, they're gonna win that game. And then like my phone was bare buzzing, and like it was from you, and I was just like, oh, like surely, like I didn't even think like, oh, Chelsea might have scored. Like, I was just like, oh, he just like messaged me saying like, oh, annoyed, blah blah blah. And then like just bare messages, and I went on. Before I opened your messages, I went on to the live score app first, just to check, and I seen 1-1 enter, and I was so gassed. I couldn't believe it. I was I was so happy, bro.
Oh, so happy. Like, just like, oh, just so happy.
Like,
And Man City, like I'm trying to put myself in Man City fan shoes here. You're playing Chelsea at probably the worst time. Thing is, a 1-1 result at home to Chelsea isn't the end of the world, but when you look at it contextually, the shocking week they've had, everyone wrote Chelsea off. Everyone. No one gave them a chance. People were saying they were going to get battered 6-0. They were going to get an absolute slapping. And I think, like, for Man City to not kill that game off and not smell blood, I think is like the biggest thing that's happened here. It's almost worse than the 2 points they dropped because, you know, they couldn't have played Chelsea at a better time.
Yeah. No,
They
I
just
agree.
couldn't have.
I think.
Yeah.
No, I completely agree with you, mate. Because I think, like, when Arsenal played them, obviously they beat Barca 3-0. They were loving life. There was a lot of talk about Caicedo, Rice, who's better, blah, blah, blah. And, like, now, I don't hear any Caicedo shouts. None at all. And then Rice has just scored a brace on the weekend. Thank you very much. I think I know who I'd pick, but that's just me.
They're not even in the same league, mate. And
No.
also, the fact Caicedo's had something like 9 yellow cards and a red card this season. It's crazy.
Yeah. I think Rice is but when he finishes his career, he's going to be in that same bracket as like Keane, Vieira, Gerrard, Scholes, Lampard. Like he's going to be like among those. He's going to be like the new generation version of those guys.
Yeah.
Like by the time his career is finished, like bro, I think bro's only like 24, 25 years old. Like
It's crazy.
he's still got another like 10 years to go. Like imagine if he wins something for England and obviously wins a couple of trophies for Arsenal. Like it's going to be hard to deny that he's not up there with those players.
Mate, talking about England and the World Cup, I'm actually going to put it out here right now. England are winning the World Cup.
Fair.
I was thinking about it a lot the other day. It's 2026 as well. So I think it's like, I think it's 60 years since they won the World Cup.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
My maths is correct. And, you know, it's happening this year. I just got a feeling.
I can see it. I can see it happening. I can definitely see it. I think there's a lot of other good teams, but England, the way some of our players are performing at the moment, like if they can carry this form into May, June, July, then they've got a big check. You know, like Morgan Rogers, Declan Rice, Noni Madueke, Marcus Rashford, Harry Kane, Mark Gahey. I mean, like players like Jordan Pickford, like he's been playing really well for Everton. Reece James, Tino Livramento, Lewis Hall, you know, Elliot Anderson, Adam Wharton. I mean, the list goes on, mate. You know, Eze,
The
blah 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 blah, Bellingham,
ridiculous amount
etc.
of players.
So really, yeah, all those players I've just mentioned, yeah, they should be winning it. They really should be. And I think they've got a really, really good chance. To be fair, if they get a nice little, again, they need a bit of rub of green here and there. Maybe with a nice draw along, like the draw along the way to help them out. And a couple of little rub of green in some of the matches. Maybe a little penalty, VAR, blah blah blah. They just need a little bit of luck, and I think they can do it, mate.
You know another thing that England have?
Mm.
They've got Declan Rice and Saka set piece. Corner
Yeah,
kicks.
they need to take advantage of that, mate.
They do. It's coming home, mate.
Hope so, man.
I genuinely think it is.
Yeah.
Genuinely think
What
it is.
summer that would be?
What a sub, mate! It would be Imagine. No, I can't. I'm not gonna jinx it, but
I feel like I know what you're gonna say as well.
imagine what I'm saying, and then that happens as well. That'd be too good to be true, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll be like, when am I waking up?
Yeah, life's not that good. Like,
It's never been this kind before.
yeah. If that happens, I'm gonna have to buy a lottery ticket as well. Like,
Yeah, literally. Good thing coming freeze, eh?
yeah, literally.
Well, thank you for listening. That's all we got time for today. Wishing you a very successful 2026 to all our listeners and everyone. Thanks for listening. It's been a good one. It's good to be back as well. And yeah, thanks for your time, mate, as always.
Yeah. Thank you very much, man, and look forward to the next episode.
100%. Take
See you
care.
later.
Like and subscribe. Cheers.